Equine. I'm an equine extension specialist at the University of Georgia, and we are back in the hay stall today to continue our forage education video series. What we're going to talk about today is how to take a forage sample, specifically how to take a hay sample. So buying hay in bulk is a great way to save money, especially if you buy it in bulk directly from the grower. If you're going to buy 100 or 200 or more bales of hay, you might want to have some assurance of the quality of that hay. So you could either ask the grower for a forage test, or you could take a hay sample and have a forage test performed on it. So today we have some special guests. We're going to team up with Lucy Ray, who is a county extension agent in Morgan County, and Dr. Dennis Hancock, who was our forage extension specialist. And these two are going to walk us through the process of how you would take a forage sample. So if you have hay of your own, or if you want to take a hay sample from hay that you might be wanting to purchase, they're going to walk you through the steps of how to work with your county extension agent and how to take that hay sample. So we appreciate you tuning in, and we appreciate their expertise today as they answer our questions and walk us through this process.
Hey folks, Dennis Hancock here, the Grass Man. Here today we're going to talk about obtaining a good quality sample for forage testing analysis, and I'm here with the Grass Lady.
Hey y'all, I'm Lucy Ray. I'm the county extension agent in Morgan County, which is just a little bit south of Athens.
And a member of our forage team too, right?
Yes, sir.
A team of agents that we have across the state who are specialized training with forage crops. And so, Lucy, we're going to talk a little bit about sampling. We have several different types of probes, right? We have a Penn State probe here, is what they used to call a Penn State probe, but now there's several different types of these on the market. This is a nice drill too, by the way, that you've got. These brushless drills are really a good strategy if you're going to be doing very many of these samplings, because they tend to make the battery last a little bit longer. So if you've got a good brushless drill, that should last a little bit longer. This particular model of a Penn State probe is about an inch in diameter, and it's got some flighting here on the core itself, so it actually helps pull into the bale. So if we were to go right into the side of this bale, it just pulls right in real easily. And then all we need to do is take this out, pull the pin, pull the core out, and then plunge the core. Now this is where it gets a little bit dicey. You want to make sure and put your hand behind, once you got it started, put your hand behind here, behind the protector. So if you catch that for me, we can kind of show the camera a little bit about what we get. So this particular sampler comes from Star Quality Samplers. It's actually out of Canada. Really a good device. What I like about it is it's got this pin on it instead of the old push button devices that had a little push button and you pulled it out. Sometimes that push button would get a little stubborn, wouldn't it? Very difficult. So another option, this is actually one that we use a lot of times for research. It's very similar to the Penn State style probe. This is also made by Star Quality Samplers. It also has the flighting on it, but what I like about it is it's got this nice canister. So for research purposes, we do a lot of use of this because we can get a lot of different samples, a lot of different cores into one sample, and then we have it ready just to pour right into the bag. And then finally, although there's many other options too, but this is a Colorado hay probe. So this one's like a giant hypodermic needle, and the key here is to make sure that this point end is really nice and sharp. And so for this one, what we need to do is just jab it right into the bale.
All right, so if you're wondering a little bit about how to actually take a hay sample or take a forage sample, weather conditions and fertilization strategies are going to make everything a little bit different for each hay cutting. And each field is going to have different fertility. So you want to make sure that when you do sample, you're sampling from each lot. And for us, each lot is going to be each field, each cutting. Even if it is the same field, the second cutting is going to have different nutritional value than the third cutting or the first cutting, etc. Dennis just talked about these different ways to sample. So you're going to get a bale core or some type of probe and get a representative sample from at least 20 bales in each lot. And like Dennis was showing you earlier, you do want to make sure on your square bales that you're going to go in from the short end, and then on your round bales you'll go in from the curved side. Make sure that you insert the sampler, whatever type of probe you use, whether it's a Colorado probe or a Penn State probe. Insert that sampler fully into the bales so that you get very thorough cross section, and again, make sure that you're crossways to the stems on the bales, which is going to be the short side of your square bales and the curved side of your round bales.
That's really critical because what you're trying to do is represent as much of an area as possible. The way that this stack is made, we actually only have a few that are on this end that are with the short end exposed. If we were to go into the side, the long side here, we're really only covering just one little tiny spot in the field. And actually, we probably, if we stuck that probe in, we would actually miss a lot of the material. So that's crucial, is to avoid a situation where you're not getting as much of a representation with that core as you possibly can. We have, in this particular barn, we've got a lot here and we've got a lot here, and actually in behind this stack there's another cutting from another field, so that's another lot. So each one of those will need to be separated in our sampling process. One of the key things to remember is don't just grab a sample and pull it out and try to submit that. And the reason being is when you pull that out, you're actually stripping off a lot of the leaf material, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where the good part is at. If you strip off the leaf, your results are going to come back artificially high in fiber and low in quality, right? The other thing to remember about square bales is, in particular, is that the way that a square baler works, it's sweeping that hay across, and then the plunger is going in and plunging it, and it's cutting the side of that bale. All right, so it's cutting it to make that nice square side to it, and we can see that on some of these bales. Actually, most of these are stored cut side down, and the strings are up on top. But you want to identify where that cut side is. On this particular bale, it's this side, and that cut side is the side that's closest to where the fork has moved that hay over to the side before the plunger has pushed it in. And the point to make about that is that that cut side, the other side of that, where that sweeping action has occurred, is where all of the leaf material, if any of the leaves have fallen off in that process, you'll have a greater abundance of leaf material in this corner relative to the cut side up here. So that is why we always recommend, when we're sampling square bales, to go dead center in the middle of that short end of the square bale. That way you get a good representation of that bale. So the other thing then, of course, is when we start talking about sampling round bales, is that's a whole nother ball of wax, right?
That's a whole different ball game. So basically, the way that a round baler is going to work is it is sweeping across windrows and pulling that material in to make a round bale. So when we're cutting, or when we're taking a sample, of a round bale, we want to make sure that we take it from the round side of that round bale, and that way we're actually getting a more representative sample by cutting across those windrows and by getting a sample across those windrows.
Yeah, so you're effectively cutting through several different passes of that windrow as it's rotating around in that round baler, right?
Exactly.
So you're getting several different spots across the field in that analysis.
And the thing to remember really is that the more representative our sample, or the more several different spots in that field in the analysis, the greater our accuracy is going to be. So you're really getting a better idea of what the nutrition is for your horse.
Yeah, that's a crucial point, is that all this sampling is you're taking a whole lot of hay, literally a lot of hay, and you're sampling it down, and then ultimately what's analyzed can fit in the palm of my hand. It's a very small amount of sample. So we have to really be doing a good job of making a sample that represents that whole area. So that's crucial. So once you've defined your lot and you have gone out and you've obtained about 20 or 30 samples, and this is just one sample and it's already got quite a bit in here, but we would need to take a quart-size Ziploc bag and basically fill it up. Now, this is a little bit bigger than a quart size, but we want to take at least a quart-size bag into our county office, and we want to go ahead and have some labeling on there as well to say exactly what it is. So we take that to Lucy as our county agent, and what do you do with it, Lucy, from there?
So basically what we're going to do is we're going to send it off to our lab. The University of Georgia Feed and Environmental Water Lab does our forage analysis for us, and what lab you use isn't as important as the fact that it does need to be accredited by the National Forage Testing Association. So regardless of what you do, make sure that you do use an accredited lab. And as a county agent, when we get those results back, Dennis, we can help the horse owners balance the ration, figure out exactly kind of where that forage falls and what our nutritional analysis is and how that actually meets your farm's nutritional needs. We can figure out if we need to be supplementing with grain, with a concentrated feed, what holes there are in our nutrition, and really kind of where to go from there. A lot of our county extension agents have forage probes available in the office that you can either rent out, or in certain situations maybe they can assist you with taking hay samples or forage samples.
Maybe if you bribe them with brownies or something.
Absolutely, right? Brownies work on me.
Yeah, your county agent can be a real big help, not only sometimes even attaining the sample, but especially in interpreting the results. Those results come back and it's the alphabet soup of acronyms and strange names. And so in a future video, we'll kind of cover some of those different terms and what those really mean. But until then, if you'd like to check out for more information on how to take a forage sample, check our website out at georgiaforages.com. On the frequently asked questions page there, we have the step-by-step instructions how to do that and sending it out to the lab for analysis. So
That's a great resource. Definitely check that out.
Hopefully this video cleared up any questions you might have about how to take a forage sample. If not, definitely seek out the resource that you have in your county extension agent. They can get you on the right path, get you set up with the right tools, and even assist you taking a forage sample. This is a great idea if you're buying hay in bulk or if you have questions about the nutritional content of your hay. Please continue to watch our videos. In our next video, we're going to talk about how to interpret your forage report. So after you've submitted that sample, you're going to get a report back, and we're going to walk you through the steps of how to interpret what you see. So thank you again for tuning in, and we hope to see you in the next video.